Greetings, Fantastic Fives. Good to have you along for another lesson of maths with Mr. T and with WorksheetCloud. Let's jump into the lesson for today. Usual reminders, just quickly, if you want to email me, I'm Mr. T. You can email me grade5@worksheetcloud.com. And after the lesson, click on that link above, do the worksheet, make sure you've got what we're doing today. It's a bit of an action-packed thing. You can hear I'm going a little fast. Want to get through it all. The next slide, as per usual, is your mental arithmetic for the day. 40 seconds, 10 questions, just the answer. Your time starts now. Time's up. So a combination of multiplication and subtraction, not a combination that comes up often, but if your thinking caps are on and if your brains are working, you should be okay. So you can see they're in pairs, but obviously with different operations, they're going to get different answers. So 7 times 5 is 35. 7 minus 5 is 2. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 minus 3 is 3. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 minus 4, 3. If you missed any of those, just rewind the video, watch it again, and mark it. I hope you are improving. Also, one of these for today. You can see that we've got singles and doubles of the people. So obviously when there's 2, it's twice as much. When there's 1, it's half. Please take note that we've got a plus and a times. So you've got to remember BEDMAS, the order of operations, that we will do the multiplication before we will do the addition. I'm going to jump across the whiteboard and give you a little while to work this one out. In these kind of puzzles, we always start with a line where all of the things are the same. So that's the first line in this one. Usually it's the first line, but not always. Sometimes it's one of the other ones. Okay, if you'd like more time, you can just pause the video. I'm going to go through it now. If at some point I give you a clue and then you're like, oh, I can take it from here, then just pause the video and you can take it from there, and then afterwards see how well you did. Okay, so we've got 3 things that are the same that add up to 30. If I divide 30 by 3, I get 10. So each of these pairs of people is worth 10, which means that a single netball or basketball player, I'm not entirely sure, would be half of that. So that would be 5. So we can put that in so long. So our netball players are 5. The ones in our subsequent lines. Having a look now at the walking player, 21, we've got something times something, where those 2 somethings are the same. That gets me to 20, plus 5 gets me to 21. Well, I've already got 5 of the 21, so I still need another 16. So between these 2, I've got to get 16. So something times something is 16, and both those somethings are the same. So 4 times 4 would give me 16. So each of the walking people is worth 4. So let's put 4 for those. And if 1 walking person is worth 4, then 2 walking people would be twice as much, which is 8. So I can put 8 in for my characters that are walking. Let's have a look at the water polo players. Let's do them in black. Okay, so we've got to get to 80. With BEDMAS, we know times comes before plus. So I'm going to do my times first. So 8 times 8 is 64. So I've got 64 of my 80, which means I need another 16, because that plus the 16 will give me 80. So that means that these two here, the two water polo players, are worth 16 between them. So if two are worth 16, then one will be worth half of 16, pardon me, which is 8. All right, so it looks, well, we've got one netball player is equal to 2 walking people. Don't know if that's a commentary on sport, but they're just little pictures. Okay, so let's look at our last line. We've got a multiplication and plus. We're going to do the multiplication step first because bed mass, and multiplication comes before addition. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 then plus the 8 gives me 48, and my answer was 48. I must say that the more you do these, the easier they seem to get. But isn't that true of so many things in life, particularly when it comes to maths? Right, let's go on with our lesson today. So we are looking at measurement conversions. I've jam-packed this lesson. We will do just really basics of conversions, but 3 different kinds all at once. They're very similar, and so I don't want to spend more than one lesson looking at them, but then in another lesson, we'll look at actually practicing working with them. So measurement conversions. Our lesson goals: know how to move between the various measurements in mass, capacity, and length. So we're looking at those 3 kinds of measurement, and then be aware that we don't use all of them every day. But they are there, and we are going to learn all of them because it is actually easier to work with all of them than if we just learn the ones we need to know. So why do we have different measurements for different things? And the reason we do is because we have different size things that we're measuring. So for example, we wouldn't use millimeters to measure the distance between Cape Town and Pretoria. We wouldn't use grams to weigh the earth. It just wouldn't make sense. So we have different measurements for using when it comes to different things. So let's have a look at the 3 that we're going to be looking at. Move myself back to the corner. All right. Move myself to the top corner so I'm not in the way. Okay, so these are the 3 that we're going to work with. I've put them in this order: capacity, length, and mass. So capacity is basically how much something can hold. And for now, you can think about it as how much liquid something can hold. So my cup can hold a certain amount of liquid, probably about 200 mils, 250 mils. All right, so you can see there the word liter appears on there. Liters, 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 and it's just the beginning bit that changes. Now, the ones in yellow are the ones that should be familiar to you, so kiloliters, liters, and milliliters. The others exist, we just don't regularly use them. In the middle is probably the one that's most familiar to most people, and that's length. And the ones in yellow, again, are the ones that are there often, so kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. But we do have all of those other ones in between as well. And I'm going to teach them to you because it actually makes converting easier if you know all of them. As a quick aside note, METRES versus METERS. I know that a lot of people get that one wrong. The way it's spelled here is British English, which is what we use in South Africa. And if it was METERS, that would be American English. So teachers won't mark you wrong, but that's what the difference is. In British English, we also have METER, but that's normally something that we use to measure with, like sort of a barometer or a barometer. It ends in METER, and that's something that measures pressure. Yeah, so random bit of information on the side. I've got lots of random information. Then we've got mass. For now, it's probably easiest to just consider the word mass to mean the same as weight. I know that there's science teachers out there who hear this will be cross with me. But for now, what you understand by when you say the word weight is mass. So when you ask, so you can see these words, kilograms, grams, milligrams. Perhaps this one doesn't come up that often, but it is there. You can see that they're all to do with weight or mass. So we've got grams, meters, and liters, the three things we're going to look at. This pretty much looks like the same thing as before, except that what I've done is I've added in what we normally write down. So KL for liters, that's its symbol. ML, I'm sure you've come across on the back of a cool drink bottle. KM, kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters on your rulers. Kilograms, grams, perhaps you've come across milligrams. Okay, but really the other thing I want to point out is that if you look at the first row, you'll know that all of them start with kilo, and then the first letter is a K. Next one, hecto. Next one, deca. Next one is the ones that are different, but those words are the end of all the other words. Then we've got deci, centi, and milli. All right, and this is why I'm teaching them all together, because you use the same thing or the same method to do each of these. The one thing I just want to point out, they're all with small letters except for deca. So decaliters, decameters, and decagrams. And the reason for that is we've got two Ds. We've got deca and deci, and the one at the bottom, deci, is smaller than the one at the top. So we use the small d for the deci and the big D for the deca. Other than that, it's all lowercase letters. And here's how I remember it, with a very silly rhyme, and I don't know why I've got this one. It's the one that has got stuck in my head over the years. You're welcome to make up your own one. So what we call this is a mnemonic, and a mnemonic is sort of a sentence that we remember, and the first letter of each line helps us remember something that we're trying to remember. So I've got King Henry's daughters love delicious caramel muffins for capacity, with each of those standing for the various things. So K for kiloliters, H for hectoliters, D for decaliters, L for liters, D for deciliters, C for centiliters, and M for milliliters. The only difference for the second one is that the middle one is make. So King Henry's daughter make delicious caramel muffins. And so they love them, they make them, and then finally for mass, they eat them. So King Henry's daughters gobble delicious caramel muffins. So now we know the order. What are we going to do with this? Let's jump across to the whiteboard and I can show you. So the first thing let's start with the one that we use the most, and that is the one with meters. So we're going to have a look at mass first. Right, and the first thing I want to see is, can you remember the order? So can you remember that silly rhyme that gave us the order of units from the top to the bottom? Give you a moment to think about it. I hope you did. We had King Henry's daughters, and it was mass. So this is the last one. So it's G for gram, which is gobble. Delicious caramel muffins. I actually have changed my mind. I'm going to start not with mass. I'm going to rather start with capacity. Nope. With length. I'll get there eventually. I only have 3 and I got it right on the 3rd try. So length, and so instead of, this is the one I'm going to work with. This is the one where we use more of them than the other ones. So we were looking at length, which is meters. So we've got meters in the middle, decameters, hectometers, kilometers, meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. All right. As I said, we don't use all of them. We use those 4. Those are the 4 that we regularly use. You might come across the other ones, but really very seldom. Okay, so how do we convert a length? So let's say that I've got 1 meter and I want to make it into centimeters. All right, so I've given the problem 1 meter and I want to know what that is in centimeters. So how am I going to figure that out? All right, well, here's the trick. And this is why we learn all of them instead of just learning some of them. when we are going in this direction, we put zeros on. And I deliberately say put zeros on because I'm a maths person, and if I said to you we add zeros, then I would get cross with myself because 1 plus 0 is still 1, and what I meant was we put a 0 at the end. Okay, I'll more of that in just a moment. In fact, no, we're doing an example like that. Let's go right ahead and do that. So for each level we go, we put 1 0 on. All right, so if we wanted to go to decimeters, then it would be 10 decimeters. If we wanted to go to centimeters, it would be 100 centimeters. And if we wanted to go to millimeters, it would be 1,000. So let's look at the jumps that took place. When we went from meters to centimeters, we were going this way. So we're going to put zeros on. We went 1, 2, and so we put 2 zeros on. So we still have the 1, and then we put 2 zeros on. As simple as that. Let's look at another one. Well, I shouldn't have rubbed out the put zeros on. Let's say we were doing a 1 kilometer race, and we wanted to know 1 kilometer in meters. All right, so we've got kilometers and meters. We're moving from a big unit to a small unit, so we're going to put zeros on. We did 1, 2, 3 jumps, so we're going to put on 3 zeros, just like that. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. I think many of you would have known that already. Okay, what if we wanted to do from meters? No, let's go from kilometers to millimeters. All right, so we're still going down. We're going to put zeros on. So we're going from 2 kilometers, and we want to find out how many millimeters that is. So let's have a look at our list. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 jumps, and so we're going to put 6 zeros on. So 2 kilometers is equal to 2 million millimeters. Okay, last one. And this time let's go from kilometers to centimeters. So I'm going to keep this. No, I'm going to change it. Let's say we have 50 kilometers, and we want to know what it is in centimeters. Let's make it 150 kilometers. Okay, so we're going from kilometers to centimeters. We're going down, so we're putting zeros on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. All right, I'm going to start off by just writing the number I had, and now I need to put on 5 more zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 150 kilometers is equal to 15 million centimeters. I'm going to do the last one in this direction, and that is just one that you're familiar with, going from centimeters to millimeters. So let's say I've got 25 centimeters. That's just shorter than my ruler, and I want to know how many millimeters that is. You'll be able to check this afterwards on your ruler because they often have them opposite each other on the ruler, and you'll be able to see whether I'm right or wrong. Of course I'm right. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going down. We're going to put zeros on. We've got our jump of 1, which means we just put 1 0 on, and we find that we've got 250 millimeters. That's it. You should be able to find that one on your ruler. Okay, but what about if we're going in the other direction? What about if we're going from a small unit to a big unit? So what if I had come across something where it was 100 centimeters, and I wanted to find out how many meters that was? Well, if we put zeros on when we're going this way, we're going to take zeros away. I should actually say remove, because take sounds like subtract. Remove zeros. Right, so we're removing zeros when we go up. So we want to go from centimeters to meters. That's 1, 2 steps. So we're going to take away 2 zeros, and we're left with 1 meter. So 100 centimeters is equal to a meter. Let's look at another example. let's look at if we had 10,000 millimeters and we wanted to find out how many meters that was. Well, from millimeters to meters, that's 3 jumps. We take away 3 zeros and we're left with 10. So 10,000 millimeters is equal to 10 meters. Right, so it works very simply when you're going, as long as you can remember the order. King Henry's daughters make delicious caramel muffins. When we go from a big unit to a small unit, we put zeros on. When we go from a small unit to a big unit, we take zeros away. I'm going to rub all of this out, and let's have a look at capacity. In fact, I don't need to rub out the remove zeros because that works the same on all of them. All right, so I said we were going to look at capacity. Now, instead of the meter part, we're going to have liter. So kiloliter, hectoliter, decaliter, liter, deciliter, centiliter, milliliter. I have seen, we pretty much use liters and milliliters most regularly, but if you look at your parents' rates account, you might find the amount of water you use in a month is done in kiloliters. So that's thousands of liters. Okay, so it works the same. I'm going to give you let's just do 5 quick conversions. Right, and we'll see if you can manage these. Okay, here we go. 3 kiloliters to liters. Right, so I'm going to go through them straight away. If you'd like to try them first, which I think is a great idea and I highly recommend, then I suggest you pause the video, make your way through these, and then start the video again when you're ready to see whether you've got this. Okay, first one, kiloliters to liters. So I'm starting up at kiloliters and I'm going to liters. I'm going 1, 2, 3 jumps down. So I'm going to put 3 zeros on and I get 3,000 liters. You can see I'm using the cursive L. That's just to prevent confusion when it might look like a 1. Okay, I'm going from liters to kiloliters. So from liters to kiloliters, that's 1, 2, 3 jumps. Take away 3 zeros. I'm left with 5 kiloliters. Next one, 12,000 milliliters to liters. So milliliters to liters, that's 1, 2, 3 jumps up. I'm taking 3 zeros away. I'm left with 120 liters. Kiloliters to milliliters. Kiloliters, 3, 4, 5, 6 to milliliters. I've got to put 6 zeros on. So I'll start off by just rewriting the 60 part. And after that, I now need to put 6 zeros on. So please don't include that 0 as one of your 6. Careful not to make that mistake. I'm sure your teachers will include one like that just to make sure that you know, they can see that you know not to include that one. Okay, so we're going now from milliliters to kiloliters. That's a lot of jumps. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps up. So we're going to remove 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're left with 45 kiloliters. And the final one, we're going from liters to milliliters. All right. This is one of those ones where your teacher might put it in just to check whether you're paying attention. So we see all these zeros here and we think, we're getting rid of zeros. All right. Just be careful. It's not always the case. Sometimes when there are zeros, we still have to put more zeros on. Okay, so we're going from liters to milliliters. That's 1, 2, 3 jumps. We've got to put on another 3 zeros. So 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's what was already written there. And now I'm putting on another 3 zeros. And there we go. So that's capacity. Let's jump right on and not waste any time and have a look at mass. Mass. So this is the one which is the weight of things. So kilograms and grams are the ones that we're most familiar with. If you look on the back of a multivitamin or something you get from the pharmacy, some medicine, you might see mg, milligrams there, because they use very small quantities. But the conversions work the same. So kilograms, hectograms, decagrams, grams, decigrams, centigrams, and milligrams. And let's say we want to go, for example, from 1,000 kilograms to grams. Well, we're going from kilograms 1, 2, 3 to grams. Careful, just because it's got zeros there doesn't mean we're taking them away. We've got to put zeros on. So I start off by just rewriting the 1,000 that was there, and now I put another 3 zeros on. So I've got my million grams. Kilograms to grams, the same one we just did, but this time without the zeros on. 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros. So 5 stays there and 3 zeros, 5,000 grams. Now we've got kilograms to milligrams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 jumps. Start off by writing the 30 that was there. Now we put an extra 6 zeros on. Wow, that's a lot of zeros. That's 50 million milligrams, and we want to go to kilograms. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 jumps. We take away 6 zeros. And we are left with 50 kilograms. Next one, we've got 6 million milligrams, and we want to go to grams. 1, 2, 3. 3 jumps. We take away 3 zeros. We're still left with 6,000 grams. Final one. We are going from grams to milligrams. So grams, 1, 2, 3 to milligrams. We put 3 zeros on. So there was 40. Now we put the 3 zeros on, and we get 40,000 milligrams. Okay, that was quite a rushed lesson. Not a rushed lesson, but that's a lesson that went very quickly, going through the 3 different types of measurement. I think it's fine to go through them together because, as you can see, they are very similar and we work with them in a very similar way. I guess where the difficulty is, not difficulty, but where the practice is when we start working with the conversions as opposed to just being given one and told to put it into another one. Okay, so key things is to remember your mnemonics, and that's how we remember the various things. So these are the key ones in the middle: L for liter, M for meter, and G for gram. And once you've got that, then that's the middle letter. The rest are going to be the same. So King Henry's daughters love delicious caramel muffins. That's capacity. Length, King Henry's daughters make delicious caramel muffins. And finally, mass, that's what we understand to be weight. King Henry's daughters gobble delicious caramel muffins. So we've got love, make, and gobble. That makes sense because if you love something, you'll make it and eat it. All right. Okay, that's all we're going to finish up with today. Just a reminder that if you would like to email me, you can do so at grade5@worksheetcloud.com. And please click on that link above just to make sure that you've got how to convert between the various units of measurement. Grade 5s, it's been real. I will see you again soon. Have a great day.